Okay, so it is the 13th of May. I thought I'd do a little walk around video as I haven't done one in a while, just showing where I am with things and how far behind I am with things. So down in the polytunnel, I've been trying to get it ready for planting. This side is going to be all kind of cucumbers, maybe some beans and stuff like that. And I've got it rotavated today and put some muck in it. I'd love to do no dig, but I can never get enough stuff for no dig. And then this side has had loads of green stuff growing on there, so kind of clover and things like that. I'm actually digging that up, cutting it down and putting it down here to compost, making a little pile down here to compost. It's going quite nicely while we're down here. So I've been moving it with the dumper, much easier than with the wheelbarrow, must be said. And the apple trees are looking pretty good. Grass is getting pretty overgrown down here, but they've all kind of flowered. I don't think we're going to have as heavy a crop as we did last year, but they're looking pretty good, nice and healthy. And it's nice to have the chickens back out in amongst it as well, which is one of my favourite things. Good for the trees. And then the rest of the garden, I've decided that this bottom end down by the polytunnel, I'm going to sheet this over a bit better. I have sheeted it over. As you can see though, lots of weeds kind of get through, especially where I've got my slabs. So I want to pull these out and cut them down, try and keep on top of it this year and just kind of mulch it really heavily if I get a chance to, or just leave it sheeted up. Maybe grow some green manures to dig back in, kill off things like buckwheat and stuff. I think it'd be really good. But just mean that it just give me a bit of a breathing space with the garden really. Do like my comfrey there, the Bockin 17. Comfrey, and I always kind of think that's at the bottom of the garden, kind of catches all the runoff, any nutrients that I put down, so anything I put too much down it kind of runs down to those and gets caught. It's my idea anyway. The garlic and stuff's coming along nicely. You can see it's really weedy. I need to pull out all this goose grass, and actually this other side, these are the beds I tried to do some green manures over winter. It just got too cold, so the field beans I put in, they all died off. But it's got lots of goose grass and thistles, which are only going to take 5 minutes to dig out or pull out and go in the compost, get them before they go to seed, eat them, make a tea from them, and be able to plant some stuff there. We've got some brassicas to go in. There's another garlic bed here, another one there. And then going on up, I've got my parsnips there I should have pulled, going to seed, but I will pull them because I haven't selected out for the best ones. And then up in the greenhouses, now this is the greenhouse I should have moved, and so it's a bit messy. There's not much going on in here really except plants. Look, I've just potted these on, I need a bit of water, some cucumbers and some melons. And I've got some beetroots, some different salads, different leeks, some cutting celery, some salad there, some beans, some sweet corn. But you can see this is why I want to move this had it really. You see down there, it's just rotten. I put this on some timber when I first come here as like a temporary job. Of course, 11 years later, I still haven't sorted it out. In the other polytunnel, got a few more things growing on, so got some wasabi there, keeping its roots nice and wet. I need to pop that on actually, give it a bigger pot. Really looking forward to trying that. Got some celeriac, one of my favourites for kind of winter soups and stuff. Got some lupins, edible ones, some courgettes growing really nicely, lots of tomatoes obviously ready for the polytunnel, and I think, you know, at the end of this next week they should probably go in. Got some brassicas, a friend brought me some brassicas over because I hadn't really got many in. So I've got some Brussels sprouts, some kale, what else have I got? Yeah, and some cauliflower and things like that. So I'm really looking forward to getting those in the garden. I've just been working a lot really and making lots of products to sell. I'll try and turn around so the light's not in my face. One of the things I've been selling is I've been making these old-fashioned metal scoops out of galvanised steel. So I cut it in my granddad's workshop, and then he's got a big old press brake I can use to fold it. And then I make wooden ends and handles to go in. Same with this one as well. This has just got one fold in it, and I've been selling those on Etsy, so it's just been trying to get another product off the ground and going, along with keeping up with my other stuff. But that's been, yeah, that's been good. And then in here, in the bed, in the greenhouse, I've got some tomato plants put in on the edges. I've got some broad beans, which is Gloucester Bounty, which I want to grow for seed saving again this year. So that's why I'm growing them in the greenhouse. Potentially not ideal, but maybe a waste of undercover space, but it's what I want to do. So kind of keeps them separated. I've got some walk-in onions there and some kale, which we're using at the moment. And there is some tomatoes dotted around there growing up. So when that kale comes out, tomatoes will be ready to take over. Oh, and there's some 9-star broccoli there as well. Which is like the perennial broccoli as well as the perennial kale. My perennial kales, I managed to save, although mine all died, I managed to save a couple of plants. So I'm hoping to get those out this year and take some more cuttings from them actually. That's the plan. This climbing rose is going to look awesome this year. Like it's already 8 foot tall and only planted it last year. It's amazing how quickly stuff establishes. And on the other side, I've got this apple that I'm going to cordon, so I need to take these branches in a bit more. They're looking really cool as well. You know, you can see how weedy. Yeah, I say I do no mow May, but I think it's just because I'm lazy. You know, this is our lawn, and it was just reclaimed from a field. You can see, you know, you've got flowers like lady's smock just growing in the lawn. So it's a proper, you know, it feels like a wildflower meadow, but it's just our garden. So you can see down the side of my veg garden, this area here with my soft fruit, and you look how big my blackcurrants have got. And I actually forgot to prune these. But I'll tell you, even the smell of the leaves is incredible. They say you can make a cordial, really nice cordial, just out of the leaves, and you smell them, and you can really believe it. It smells just like blackcurrants, really, really nice. And then we've got, so I've got 10 gooseberries, 10 blackcurrants down here, and this is incredible amount of fruit given. Last year I didn't net it. The birds had what they wanted, I had what I wanted. It was really cool. And then my separating thing between the garden, which I talked about in a video a long time ago, was to have like a row of comfrey between my veg garden and the field really. But obviously I've taken over a bit more of the field with these soft fruit plants, and it's worked really well. It's given me like a defined barrier where I know that this is comfrey and anything else that isn't comfrey in there gets pulled out. So there's some nettles down there, they need hoiking out. Works really well, so I can chop them off, make my comfrey kind of teas with it for the garden and my own kind of plant food. So that's really cool. And then while stuff is flowering, so I've got some blueberry plants here, full of flowers, absolutely full of flowers. They will need netting if I want to eat any. Nice kind of thornless blackberry there. And then this is Siberian pea tree, and the idea with these was that they're a nitrogen fixing plant. They also produce some little peas which the chickens apparently really like eating, and then to grow them in between all my fruit bushes. They haven't taken, I don't think they like my soil very much, though it's about 5 years old and it just hasn't grown very well. I mean that one's not too bad. I've got some more over here, more like bonsai trees. You can see there, that one hasn't done very well at all. But the blueberries are really cool. They're looking absolutely full of flowers in this kind of little soft fruit area, kind of permaculture-esque. This blueberry down here, actually, I think Mum got me this when I was like 18. It's never got very big. It's been moved around. It's been properly abused, really. Lived in a pot for a lot of its life, and now it's outside. I haven't put any ecosis soil around it, but it seems to survive and do quite well. Produces a few blueberries. This is a josterberry. Which is kind of a cross between a blackcurrant and a gooseberry, with neither the properties, good properties of either, I don't think, but it grows really vigorously. It's a huge bush. And then down here is really cool, in amongst the kids' goalposts, I've got these plum trees that I've put in. Unfortunately, looks like that one's died, doesn't it? But there's about 17 different plum trees quite close together down here, and I'm really looking forward to trying all these different ones out. So there's some cooking ones. There's a few. I think there's a peach in here as well. So I'm really looking forward to trying some of these different ones out. They did flower nicely, so I'm hoping we do get some fruit. As you can tell, they're getting reasonable size. I've only been in a few years. I think I planted these during lockdown as a good use of space, as the rest of the orchards over that way. And I thought this is quite cool to have something a little bit different spacings. So these are all really close together, and they're kind of spaced so I can just mow between them. And my idea actually was at some point to dig up between or cover over and then grow some crops and do it kind of like some silviculture between these fruit trees, which I might do at some point. It's not going to happen this year, I'm not going to lie. But you can see some of them really, really healthy, even though we are kind of overshadowed by this big old oak tree. So, you know, I think they're doing pretty good for that. And then I got my row of cherries. Some of these are just the cherry rootstock. I need to bud them on, and I always forget when to do it in the summer. But there is a few here. Which are proper grafted cherries. The birds end up eating most of these unless I net the whole tree, and it's quite hard to do. So we'll see how we go with these. Might net a few branches, try and save myself some cherries. I do love cherries, but I have got a really good friend that grows the amazing cherries really locally, and we go and preserve lots together, so that's quite nice. It's been so wet lately, I haven't actually managed to get through my firewood pile, which I was going to log up ready for the fire, so I need to finish that. Been playing around with the digger as well down by the ditch there. But yeah, I want to get this firewood, I want to get the rest of this logged up this year really, and over there for storage and for drying, so we can use it. It's no good if it's not dry. And then this field is just coming good now. And it looks just glorious. The other day it was all the dandelions out, and you can see all the dandelion clocks now. It's coming back into a proper old-fashioned meadow, and I've not done anything to it, but you can see when you're walking along all the different plants. There's loads of vetch in here. In the bottom field last year I noticed some yellow rattle for the first time. I've not planted it, it's just come back, I guess, from my mismanagement of not doing much with it other than taking hay and having some sheep on here a couple of times a year at the moment. But yeah, the bottom field's looking pretty much the same. It's been really, really wet down there. And then over into the coppice, you can see why I was moaning about blackthorn. It just spreads everywhere. So this is all blackthorn here, and you can see actually, I've tried to tackle it, but I only got so far. You can see how far I got, literally. Kind of just stops dead. But I guess it spreads from the seed and it spreads from suckers, and it's just everywhere, and it's so spiky and horrible. So I'm going to have a bit of a go at that this year as well. Try and get that back and have this more of a kind of coppice I want. Have got a barberry plant here. I planted. How these aren't more better used, I don't know. Look at the flowers on that. It looks gorgeous now. It's like a hedging plant, but has a brilliant edible berry on it in the autumn. Has great autumn colour as well, you know, and the berry, you use it like a savoury berry, so you like dehydrate it and put it in rice and things. But look at this bit of a coppice here. So you've got, you know, silver birch behind me, some hazel there, cherry plum. Yeah, I'm in the dappled sunlight and the shade of trees that I planted, you know, 10 years ago. It just feels really, really good. Some fruit trees over there. There's a fallen branch of a plum and it's still growing actually. Lots of hazel, oak tree there coming up. It's just looking really good. I'm really pleased with it. Got these apple trees that I pruned in a video earlier this year. That one's coming up nice and upright. And I got all my brash, so from the willow, some of the apple tree prunings and some of the blackthorn. You can see here the blackthorn's grown in clusters. I just need to get in here with a chainsaw and some really thick gloves and maybe some gauntlets on my arms and tackle it. Going over here into my willow, so you can see I thinned these shoots down, so it's this freer stump, and they're looking really, really nice now. I can't see any rabbit damage, which is really good on the young shoots I left. There are a few smaller shoots coming up, as you can see, so I probably have to, because I want to keep it to 3 shoots. Well, it's easy to do it now, I suppose, but well, we'll find the time. And then the section that I cut this year, you might have seen the video. Everything's kind of just coming up, so you've got these shoots just coming up now. They're looking great as well. So, and then that's the next section to cut. But it is cool as you stand in it. You know, looking good. So that's it at the moment. Lots to do, obviously. This time of year is always really busy. Not going to bed, don't go in before it's dark kind of thing, but it's great fun. So thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this, click the thumbs up and I'll see you next time.